Good morning, guys out there. Happy Thursday to everyone joining us this morning. I'm here with two wonderful individuals,
Yeah.
as you know, to my
Guilty is charged.
Yesterday, we had a lot of comments asking, "Where's Amanza? Where's Amanza?" Well, here is Amanza for you this morning. Amanza is right here,
The one and
glowing.
only.
She
The
looked like
one
she
and
rest.
only.
She looked like she rested up a whole lot
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come
yeah.
this morning
Yeah,
with this
yeah.
glow. You know, Amanza, you're
Our
looking
co-host
phenomenal.
Amanza is back.
Thank
We're so
you.
happy to have Amanza.
Always a pleasure
Yep,
to be
yep,
here
yep,
on
yep,
FYI. Good morning to your viewers, your listeners. It's good to be here with you guys. I missed y'all yesterday.
Sharing a cup of coffee. Do you say cheers when you're drinking coffee? Could you say cheers?
I don't
think
Give
so.
me a hit.
I'm not having coffee actually. I'm having this is Tizam.
Oh,
Bush
Amanza,
tea.
Amanza's a little
But
different.
I'm having coffee.
It's regular coffee for me
Good to
as
see
well.
everybody. Good to see you guys.
Guys, how has it been yesterday? You know, we were out here, we were speaking to you yesterday morning. So many of you came on. Yes, it was actually a really good day, Sharon.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
yesterday was one of our better days. We had so much
Yeah.
information packed up, and I think the time went by so quickly. So today we're going to try our best to unpack in such a strategic way that we get everything in before that hour goes by so quickly. And Beatrice Selby Sharon, oh my gosh,
The folks
Beatrice,
are there. Y'all come out. Y'all
Beatrice,
come
we
out
like
early.
you a lot, you know.
Chisholm Henry and Tanya Cummins.
Vashti.
Mm-hmm.
Vashti Megnan.
Vashti's from Waterloo, Canada. Please and thank
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good
Please
Here,
and
morning.
thank you.
Morning.
How's the weather in Canada, Vashti? Good to see you there.
Courtney October.
Yep,
Good
yep,
morning to
yep.
you, Courtney.
All the guys are out. What are you guys having for breakfast? You know, Man's having her little herbal tea here, and I
We're
ain't
with
there
coffee.
yet. I'm a work in progress.
We're coffee this morning.
We are work in progress. That's
Wow.
what's happening. That's what's happening.
But I'm trying to, guys, listen, let me be honest with you in the morning.
Be honest with us.
I try to go through these names. I try not to miss your names, but it goes by so quickly. Oh my gosh.
Irwin
I'm
Don
there.
Cook, we see you. Vanessa Ward Dean. I see Blossom
Warren.
Fraser.
I
Yep.
think there's Warren there.
Yep. Royston as well. Prophet Siabru and Carl Fordyce. Millicent Ross and Donna Barry. Gangaram Tony, we see you. St. Romain Adams. We see y'all. We happy that you all are up early.
Vashti said she's having egg and bread.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But Judah David is here. You know, Judah hasn't missed one single morning, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Judith is
single
there.
morning.
She's just there.
She's here already. Cummings. Was it Tanya Cummings?
Tanya Cummings.
Yes.
Come on down.
Tanya is saying what?
Ooh, somebody's having breadfruit and hot
Yep,
dog.
and
Wow.
Ramesh Puran says he's having bread and eggs too.
Bread and egg, yes.
That seems to be a feature. Like boiled egg, are you going to scramble it? How are you doing this bread?
Boiled
and
egg with bread.
You know,
I don't
Beverly
think I can
Drake
do that.
says
Hi,
hi,
Beverly.
Amanza. Why
How are
only
you?
Amanza gets high from Beverly?
That's what
I feel attacked.
Yeah,
I feel attacked.
People.
I feel attacked right there. Vicky Narayan and Janet Wong, Sonia Annie, Ro Robinson. Wow.
We see Gladstone
Ro Robinson.
Matthews.
Congrats.
Gladstone
Congrats.
Matthews is joining us this morning. I haven't seen Gladstone Matthews yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I missed him
And
yesterday. Good morning,
Gina
Gladstone.
too. How are you guys doing? How was the night? How did you guys sleep? You had any dreams? You all see any lotto numbers? Come on, tell us something.
You know, Sharon is
Tell me
always
something.
with these lotto numbers.
Tell me
like,
something.
no, Sharon.
Yeah. Money got a mech, you know. However, money got a mech.
Lord, we get no increase.
So your name calling. Money got mech.
Judith a little different, you know. Judith is having omelette and toast this morning. If we could
So we
recall.
cut Judith again. Judith, omelette. Omelette.
Listen, Judith yesterday morning, guys. Yesterday morning, Judith was having what was she having? Fish broth with cassava bread.
Judith
No, this morning.
This is quite
Token came.
I'm
Bushy
sorry.
like that. Bushy like that.
I need to go visit Judith.
And so forth.
We're gonna be ordering some
Send
breakfast.
some this way, Judith. Send some this way.
Facade says good morning.
Yeah.
to everyone.
Nicola Daniels, we see you, Nicola. We see you.
Judith says,
Yeah.
I love your dress, Amanda. Thank you.
It's amazing,
I feel
Amanda's
attacked
dress, you
again
know.
like I ain't thinking that. I come out this morning, I'm a best thing. I'm a circle, I'm a squares. Nobody see me.
Dawn, good morning to you. Dawn is always here again. I love Dawn's comments through all the programs.
Yeah. Guys, we love spending time with you. We love that you guys pull up a chair, pull up some herbal tea or coffee or coffee and cream and you.
Well, yeah, I'm saying Toronto is cold, so I can only imagine. You
Yeah.
know, Guyana, we're in the tropics. We're good.
Toasty. Thank you.
Toasty.
We're
Toasty warm. Yeah.
Toasty warm.
Yeah. Look, Beatrice says she won $10 on her mega yesterday.
Wow, it's gonna be a good day. It's,
It's
gonna be
gonna
good. 10 million or just 10. It's gonna be a good day nonetheless. It's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, Rose. I see Rose Campbell out there this morning also. Travis, good morning to you, Travis. Donna Barry.
Donna's a faithful
Poached
one.
eggs
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
what? With
Poached
bread
eggs.
and
Poached
some hot
eggs.
milky
I see
tea.
Clean
I'm
Art says
sorry.
good.
My Lord.
Clean Martin
Nice.
says good afternoon from the UK.
Oh, it's the afternoon already there?
He has
Wow.
lunch. He had cook up for lunch.
Wow. You in the future, my brother. You in the future.
Judith says I know her ability in the kitchen, so when we come to Bartica, she's going to be cooking for us. So we're putting that out
We
there
gotta
to
take
the
the show on the
public.
road.
Tanya,
We gotta take the show on the road
Tanya
now.
said my curry just landed for breakfast.
Oh wow, I'm
Oh, you-
sorry.
He said it's not only certain people can get curry.
Look here,
shipped
first
in.
Oh, I'm
name.
sorry.
Good for you. Good for you.
Apologies.
Good for you. We envy you there.
Mhm.
Curry floating tastes differently. You know?
The different
A
curry.
different curry. Good to see all of you
It's
guys.
raining
Yeah.
according to it's Carl Fordyce. He says it's raining in Trinidad and Tobago right now. So
Mhm,
Carl is joining
mhm.
us all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Morning to you,
Mhm.
Carl. You know,
Walk
keep
with your
yourself-
umbrella.
I was just about to say it. Keep yourself dry during the rain.
Mm.
Good to see all of you guys. What do we have on the menu this morning,
Well,
Rita,
you know,
in
I
terms
want,
of the news?
but I want to actually, you know, guys,
Commissioner
the
Cole
time.
says that's a very interesting statement. She's emotionally distressed. You
Why?
gotta get the dildo is what she keeps hearing in her sleep. No,
Commissioner Cole.
Commissioner Cole is emotionally distressed.
Wow.
It's-
So.
Mhm.
Well,
Really
we'll,
sick.
we'll
We're gonna
actually
deal with that
touch.
later
We're
on,
actually
I
going to
We're gonna
touch a
deal with
bit
it, yeah.
on
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
you know, sometimes we don't allow these
Mhm.
these issues to overtake the real things that are happening around us. One of the things I want to start off with this morning, shared, is the fact that we have been mentioning it for the entire week. If I'm to say that. Be careful on the road. We've been speaking about road safety. We've been asking persons to be careful and all of that. And yet we have to be reporting this morning on the issues with the bus drivers and the way in which they use the roadway shared. There's a video circulating on social media with a bus actually driving on the pavement where persons should be walking, and he seems most upset when the guy is trying to like tell him you
Correct him.
can't do that. He was most upset, and I'm bringing this forward because we've been talking about so many accidents out there all the time, and here we are. Here we have it. This is the little space set aside for the pedestrians. And as you said before, Sharon, those persons in any developed country, pedestrians are they're on the top level when it comes to road safety
usage
and
mobility and so on. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're considered most important. They should be given first preference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here we have a bus driver literally taking the bus. And you know what I have to say? And you guys are going to chime in on this. It is my belief that as the passengers in the bus, we sort of allow these things to happen because it's either no one says anything or there's one person speaking out and everyone else being silent. So the drivers and conductors are allowed to get away with murder, basically, on the roadways. Have you experienced anything like that?
Well, when you talk about the driver being wrong and strong, it reminds me of seeing in Parliament just yesterday afternoon. But that's another story by itself, a little later on in the discussion. Wrong and strong, you're on the pave. Another driver is trying to say, you're doing something wrong. And the driver in the video that we saw circulating on social media seemed to be saying, who is you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
You think you're Sue? Who is you?
But it is to me indicative of just a deeper issue, and that is just a complete breakdown of law and order.
Yes.
And I think as a people we know better because, like we said some time ago on the show, when we go to other people's countries, we behave.
Fall in line.
Immediately
Yes,
fall
and
in
Fall in
line.
line.
able to fall in
You
line.
think he's going to go
So
driving like
he
that in the
can't.
US?
He can't. We seem to just be happy to disrespect our own, to treat our own lesser, and it's really, to my mind, just evidence of a complete breakdown of law and order and
because
morality and everything in the
and
society.
this is so because no one is being held accountable. That video is circulating on Facebook, and I am waiting to see him being held accountable by law enforcement officers. This is what we need to do. If persons believe they will not be held accountable, they will continue to do these things, put themselves in harm's way, and put everyone
Other
else
people
in
in
harm's
harm's
way.
way.
We
Yeah.
cannot be allowing these things. I encourage persons, the persons using the buses in this country, a lot of times we mistake our, well, not mistake, a lot of times we don't realize our power when we are literally
True.
the mechanism by which these people survive. The bus operators, the bus drivers, that entire business survives because you, the passengers, put money in their pocket. And at no point in time are you, the passenger, supposed to be uncomfortable. At no point in time you should be disrespected. You have the upper hand because you are funding that industry altogether. And persons need to understand that. So when you get into a bus, you should be spoken to with respect. When you get
Absolutely.
into a bus, your life should be guarded. No one should be reckless on the roadway with you being in the bus. And I dare say, when you are in the bus, even things like when it comes to loud music and all of that, the bus passing, I could barely hear what's going on when they pass me. I can't imagine being in there sitting. So persons need to, there's unity in numbers, there is strength
Absolutely.
when you speak
Absolutely.
out together. Don't leave the one mature person in the corner that's going to say, you know what, please turn on the music, you know what, please go a little slower. You all need to say that, because guess what, if that bus gets into an accident, you see how bus accidents are in this
It
country.
is that
We have,
everybody is at stake. All of our
Correct is
lives
it's a
are
right.
at
mess,
stake.
it's a
Correct
And
is
mess.
right.
you'll have innocent people walking on the road. They could become involved. You
Yeah,
could be driving. I could be
yeah.
driving. Sharon could be driving, and you are victim to these reckless people. So I guess our message this morning is that you have the
Mm-hmm.
power to speak up. You have the power to stop this. You have the power to discourage it. I think sometimes, Sharon,
Mm-hmm.
we do not understand the power of our dollar
Yes,
and
my
where we
gosh,
spend our
Ma'am
money and how we
Amanda,
spend our money. It's it's
you're
it's
so right.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I would get out of your bus if you can't
I had
if you
that
can't do that, if you
experience.
can't be safe, be
Yep,
courteous, turn the music down. People work hard,
yep.
and at 4:30 in the afternoon you get off of work. You want to be able to go and to be able to ride home in relative comfort, in
Unwind.
decency. There's a saying that you can test the economic strength of a country based on whether any member of society, irrespective of what level of society they're on, will take the public transit system. That
Yes.
is a real test of development. So it looking
But you know
things
what?
looking tight by weekend.
Wow.
Amanza has a refrain, and she always says that it's up to us, the people. How much are you willing to take? How much are you
Yeah.
willing to take? And it comes back to what you says as well. When you sit in public transportation, I mean, nobody wants to stand out. I, least of all, I like being very backseat, back of the class kind of person, and just being not noticed. And I think that's true for all of us. But how much more?
Yeah.
How much more?
Yeah.
Right? The man is on the pave. A fellow driver is saying, "You're doing madness, my brother,"
And
and
he
he
has the gall.
abusing all the man, abusing
Yes.
all the man.
Yeah.
Basically,
Rough and
he was
strong.
like, get out of the way. Let me do my thing. This is what I do
Rough and
every day,
strong.
whatever. And then they come up with these things, and they say that nobody could tell them anything because somebody always knows somebody somewhere. Like this is the
Right,
system that we have
right.
gotten so
Or
used
or the
to.
minibus is owned by police, so we can.
There's that too. There's that too.
That particular matter, that's something we need to definitely look into to see if these persons that are so blatantly defiant are the ones that are in association with, or that they are working for, and those are questions that we can put out there right now,
Feel
because
untouchable.
because let me say it like this: if a bus is owned by a police and someone is driving a bus for a police, then that bus should be exercising extreme care and
Yeah.
extreme caution,
Yeah.
and not on the opposite end believe that
Should
they
be
can do
held to a higher
whatever
to be held
they
to higher
want. How do
standard.
Very
we
well.
how do we get to this
Yeah,
point in
yeah,
our
should be
society?
held to a higher standard.
But
This is what I say to people in public life. Do not use your friendship with people in public life as an excuse to break the law. I always say, if you are my friend, then I expect you to do better than others. I expect you to be the gold standard of
Yep.
proper behavior
Yep.
because we are friends. So I think it comes back to what are we as people willing to demand.
But I'm happy with the driver who took the footage.
Yes.
Because clearly he saw
Yes.
something that was
Yes.
that was wrong there.
Right.
And I know a lot of people have been sharing that video of the bus on the pavement on social media and tagging the Guyana Police Force. I think they should tag the union as well because
Yes,
these buses come on
correct.
the unions. And the unions is the first railing trail line of defense to say to your members, this is how, you don't drive. This is a prime example.
Wow.
A teachable moment of how you don't conduct
Yes.
yourself as a bus
And
driver.
he was tearing down the pavement.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
shocked at the rate of speed that he was going on the pavement.
But we
So
can send a message out, Manso.
Where?
But-
I think we
you
can
know-
send a message out to some persons, Sharon. I'm cutting you off because you're speaking about the fact that there are a lot of these buses that are operating that are owned by police and so on. I often tell people, and I often tell a lot of persons that never confuse being in the proximity of power to actually having power, because you are going to be left high and dry when whatever hits the fan. Right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't work like that. You don't confuse yourself that I know this person, because those same people that you believe they're gonna leave you high and dry. So don't confuse that. Oh well, I know this person. This is my friend. So I'm in the proximity of power, protection. Don't confuse it to actually having power and protection. So take that warning. But persons need to be very, very careful on the roadways out there and speak out. To the person that took the video, thank you. We need more persons like you out there speaking out, calling those persons out. Name and shame. That's if that's the way it has to work. Like Sherrod is rightly saying, tag the police force, tag the union. These buses doesn't operate by themselves, doesn't operate on
Hopefully
their
not.
own, right? And
Hopefully not.
remember,
I think-
your dollar matters. Yes,
I
Manso.
think it really does point to the power of social media and
Yes.
the power that we have.
Yes.
Every citizen can now be a reporter.
We the people, yeah.
And so, I often tell people, particularly when we go out into the communities, when we're doing our political work, I said, you have a smartphone, take a video.
Correct,
The
that's right.
excavator is doing
Correct, that's
something
right.
wrong, you take a video and
Yep.
you send it.
Wow.
You have the gift of information, and as a people, we have to know how to use it wisely.
Yes.
Yep.
To hold government accountable.
Yep.
To hold government accountable.
And that's why when you guys come on the program, folks like Amina McDonald and Glenn Sismingo Byrne and Chanel Ross, we say share the live program so other persons get valid and credible information as well.
Yeah.
And not to beat this issue, flag this issue, into the ground. But in terms of being a teachable moment, I think in our society, it can be used as a metaphor too of how many people break the law and cut in to get ahead.
Wow.
Right? How many people cut in to get ahead? It's not only bus drivers, that is symptomatic of a larger problem.
Yeah.
Of a larger problem.
Yeah.
How many people cut in to get ahead?
And you are right. It really is a metaphor for where we are in Guyana today as a society. You break the law with reckless abandon. You don't consider the consequences because I can pay somebody and so on and so forth. So it really is a metaphor. You have made a very, very, very good point. And I think it is something that we ponder on and we look at that bus as us as a society and how we are condoning recklessness and lawlessness. And the car driver, maybe it's the few right-thinking people who are saying, hey,
breaks up.
this is not the right
breaks
way.
up. I mean, Mansa, how long was that bus driver going to have to wait there? 5 hours? 2 hours? That's the other thing we have to tackle. I had the privilege of going to Colombia to study mobility, how transportation and pedestrians move and cyclists and all that, how those things work in good cities. And I remember being in Colombia for a week and never hearing a horn once.
Wow.
Never hearing a horn once. People come to the stoplight, they stop. They give way to pedestrians. Never hearing a car horn once. When the light says green, people wait and they move off. A nanosecond in Guyana after the light turns green. Pop, 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 pop.
It's like, I swear to you, it's like they lay down on the horn. They're just like
That's
push
me.
forward.
A nanosecond, that
what?
light goes green.
Serious.
And people honking on you. I try my best not to blow people. Try my
But
level best.
it is, again, symptomatic of where we
Yeah.
are as a
Yeah.
society. And I keep making the point here that we want to endeavor to become, a little more egalitarian, a little more
Yes.
first worldly and developed in our approach, but we seem hesitant to exercise the requisite amount of discipline that it takes to get there. It requires that you have a disciplined population who will decide, look, we are going to be either a nation governed by men or we're going to be a nation governed by laws. It's very, very simple.
Mhm.
And I think
Yes.
if we really sit down and understand what Guyana can be, and Guyanese are seized with that vision of what Guyana can be, man, we will demand so much more
Mhm.
of our leaders. The foolishness that happened in the National Assembly yesterday, where a minister, can you imagine the level that we have sunken to? That a minister felt comfortable saying what he said whilst on the floor with an open mic.
Yeah, because and I want to raise this point when you speak about that, because when generally in society right now, Guyana, we are new. We're looking at this whole we're like a blank slate. I often just use that description. There's so many things that has never been done in this country in terms of business and development altogether, and it gives a unique opportunity for persons to go out there and be creative, use your creativity. You have this blank slate as a country with so many things never been done before, and there we have it with new money. A lot of persons are seeing, and I dare say, Amanda, that there's a concept that you learn in sociology that speaks about the bourgeois of societies and how they operate. But then there's a distinction. There is a class in society that even persons with money cannot even enter this class because they have money with no class ethics. And that is something that we see a lot when we look around our society. You cannot want to be elevated to a level that you're sitting down and you're having discussions at a level with the large CEOs of these multinational corporations if you have the money but you don't have the class ethics to go with it. No one wants to be seen with you in society altogether. We have so many of those issues. But before you even delve into the matter of parliament, I want to give an update on the mud water situation, because I know, Sharon, you covered it a lot, right?
Mud water.
Right.
Free mud water has been our mantra here. Free mud
Well,
water.
free mud water. We've been free mud water. Not
Water. Free mud water.
it's different year for Sharon. 2022 Sharon is bringing
The
a
longer I
different
said
tone.
so, she really my accent. True Guyanese.
Sharon isn't even going nowhere. He just see the countries
Yeah,
popping
yeah,
up
yeah,
and
yeah.
his.
It's water. Free mud water.
But just an update on that, guys. We know that one Kieran Bruce was actually arrested at one point, and he for allegations that he was a person that impersonates with the character mud water character. But we saw yesterday Kieran Bruce actually sued one Malik Rodriguez, and he was suing that person for $101 million for statement that person would have
Wow.
utilized their Facebook profile and their social media page to make allegations against him. So this story has a lot more coming. But as we see everything unfold, I was looking at it, and we have so many issues in our society that we definitely need to deal with. And one of those issues we have is mental health. Sharon, a lot of persons can't handle a lot of things and a lot of pressure that comes with what is
I
going
saw
on.
some strange things on social media.
Well, that's one of my
Gotham
points.
City, let's say, has arrived in Guyana and all that. So, perhaps you're right. We're going to take mental health.
Mental health
very
is a
seriously.
very, very serious issue, and
Right.
sometimes it's good to go out there and we see people acting all crazy, and we just laugh and we have a good field day with it. But at the end of the day, that person may be in some serious need of help.
I think look, you look at the way we're still considering the estimate.
Yes.
But if you go back to Ashley Singh's budget speech, there's a paragraph in there on mental health.
Yes.
And the paradigm with which they address mental health still suggests that it is something that is taboo, that it is something that's not to be spoken of. Guyana has the highest per capita suicide rate in the world.
Yes.
This little country here with 800,000 we running around in it. Highest per capita suicide rate. And the paradigm with which this government treats mental health is still in the 1960s.
Yes, correct.
We go every year to get a physical checkup for our body.
We're not
But
looking at the mind.
mental health is still taboo. So we don't feel that we should invest. This government has indicated that they don't plan to invest in the level of training to bring the competent counselors and psychologists, etc., to help the Guyanese population. If you notice, and forgive me, I tend to have a very unusual look at things. You would notice that as a society, we cope with humor.
Yes. We
Our
laugh
coping
everything.
mechanism
We
is
laugh
humor.
everything off.
You understand? It is a coping mechanism. And you know what brought me to that place? Maya Angelou did a poem named, I think, They Wear the Mask.
Yes. Well, we had the literal mask.
Right.
We saw the literal mask.
They wear the mask. And in that, she was saying, and she was talking about this Afro-American Guyanese, Afro American, African American. And she was saying that she sits on the bus and the bus stops and she laughs, and somebody comes off and she laughs.
Yes.
And
I know that. I know that
struck me as so insightful, because when she dissected it, she said they wear the mask to survive. And I believe that as Guyanese, we use humor to cope. Because if we did not have a sense of humor, would have been a whole lot of mad people running around in the streets.
Yes.
I'm telling you, because it is, you leave Guyana and you're almost filled with a sense of dread, because you go to places that they do not have even a quarter of what you have.
Yeah.
And their nations are developed and they're working, their democracies are not perfect, but they are working. And then you come back here and it is a weight that almost descends on you when you get back to that airport, because you come, you love your country, but you ask yourself, we be making sense? Are we
I know what
gonna
you're talking about, my
change?
sister.
Are we gonna change? And
Yeah.
these are the very, I think, deep
Yeah.
things that we
Yeah.
as a nation
Yeah.
have to
I know what you're
start
talking about.
to address if we're gonna
Yeah.
move this nation
You know-
forward.
But one of the indicators, Sharon, one of the indicators when persons are looking at actual true development, we talk about development. A lot of times we hear the word being thrown around. The country is developing. The country has this high GDP growth rate and all of these things. But when you're looking at true development from the human aspect of things, things that you take into consideration is a level all level of happiness that is in the country. And a lot of countries, I dare say, you with countries that you've never even heard about actually rank so high when it comes to the level of happiness, because those persons wake up and they have the peace of mind. Those persons know that when they go out their gate, they don't have to be looking left, right, and center and then run into the car to lock the door before someone comes to stick them up at their gate. And those persons know they can go to the store and they don't have to worry about somebody coming behind them to vice them, literally, and all of those things. All of those things put together are actually the indicators that we should be looking at for true human development and a nation's development altogether. We're not just looking to see something look nice. We want to see it reflected in the behavior, the characteristics demonstrated by the people of the country.
And I think this is what our vice president misses.
Yes.
Because when you hear him speak about the economics of the budget, you hear him talk about one aspect of economic development that has to do with infrastructure.
It looks nice. It should look
what
nice.
happened to, as Joretta said, human and social development?
Yeah.
That is also an indicator.
That is the main indicator.
indicator.
That is the main indicator
of economic development. And so I guess my point is that we are now in a time where we ought to be a little more enlightened. And so nobody can come and shove down we throat, infrastructure is the sign of development. That's nonsense.
Yeah. And I think largely what we want is progress as against movement. And what you said earlier, Manzi, resonated with me, because I remember coming back home last November, you sitting in transit in Miami, and I see a door leading to the aircraft, and then I see another door, and I say, boy, it's It's where you going back there for? My alter ego saying, down the door. But I when I think about my family and I see myself on the front page of some newspapers, I say, you know what?
And I think that is what people
yeah.
don't see very often. They see you in public, you're now a public figure, but they do not see, I think, the level of mental and internal struggle.
Yes,
And
that's what we're getting to.
very often they see your public figures as Superman and Superwoman, or they can no, but the reality is that we are very human.
They're brave,
with
the
human
this, that.
emotions, with human needs, with the need for security, just like anybody else. And so it is literally a challenge. And this is why I say, when I say to people, when they say, "What y'all doing?"
Yeah.
I said, "What are we doing?"
Yes.
What are we
Definitely.
doing?
All are involved.
Because all are involved. We are just the ones that would have stepped forward
Yes.
and said, offer ourselves as leadership. And this is why I generally do not say when we come to power. Because for me, government
It's
is not about
service.
power, it's about service.
Yep.
If you look at the word minister, you understand what that means.
Yes.
But we got it backwards. But hold on, by the time FYI finish, we're gonna have such an enlightened people.
But every
Folks
time
like-
we discuss, right? Go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead.
Folks like Alden Brown.
Yep. Maureen
Martha
Chester
Harris.
Paul.
Yes.
Yep, and we have Roxanne Aaron as well, Andrew Cuthbert. Good to see you guys. We're all going to be better for it, according to Mansa.
Yes,
enlightened.
absolutely. Enlightened.
And I'm happy that so many folks join us for this discussion because, and we hope families too, because in our family, Mansa, one of the things always at the back of our head, anything we're doing is we're doing well.
Right.
And wherever we are, we must improve that.
Right.
In some way.
Right.
And we believe that, if we can do a little better than the generation before us, then we can improve.
Our aim must at all times be to advance the species.
Yeah.
Yes.
You cannot leave it worse than you found it.
Yeah.
It means that you have not done your duty as a human being. And so, we have a long way to go, but I believe that our people have been looking for leadership, and they've been looking for leaders who are more in love with people than they are with power. And I think the people are going to be rewarded pretty soon, because I do believe that I have such confidence in our young people. There's a generation of young people now who are far more enlightened. Look, I have an 18-year-old.
What?
You, Mansa.
Stop it. Stop
And
it.
this young man.
I apologize.
And this young man says some things that I'm like, but when I was 18, I was not this enlightened. And then there's a 16-year-old. I know I'm giving away my age here. And he, can I tell you something? One day I was writing something that I had to say, and I said to him, I said, look, read it. He said, mommy, I think this ending is a bit anticlimactic. You have to do better.
Break that down for us, Mansa.
Let me say, I have to go back and
tweak
it. But the point that I'm making is that we have a generation now that are so much more enlightened.
The information age.
Than we were at their age. I mean, some of the things my children talk about, I didn't have that conversation. I was not allowed to have those conversations because we come from the little children must be seen and not heard era. But one of the
I was
things
spared.
that I'm thankful for my parents for is that they allowed us the space to express respectfully.
Yeah, that's why I say I was spared. I was spared from that because I was allowed to scope to think. I was spoken to with respect from my mother, and that's how I grew up. I grew up knowing that you don't have much. You probably not know what we're gonna make tomorrow for lunch, but we're gonna speak to each other with respect, and we know that we have an aim and this is a direction we're going to be looking to elevate ourselves in our lives altogether. And I grew up with a passion for representation altogether. I want to go out and I want to represent people because I believe from a little child that people do not understand the struggle of poor people living in this country. They do not understand it. I had that from day one. I could remember vivid things from my childhood. I could remember conversations from my childhood that I had with persons that I made a decision mentally and said, "Hey, I'm gonna grow up and I'm
But
gonna represent
I
people."
think that is what happens.
Yes.
I think you try to mirror your environment.
Correct.
You are empowered, and so you want to empower others.
Yes.
Precisely. So for me, it I cannot fathom not confronting disrespect.
Yep.
Talking
I
about
can't
disrespect.
I can't fathom not confronting disrespect because I live by a particular mantra. I do not disrespect people. You'll never find me starting anything,
Nope.
but I will not take nonsense from not a boy.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar to me. Talking about disrespect.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we can that discussion can actually go into what occurred in Parliament yesterday, and I dare say that this is not a discussion that started yesterday. The opposition MPs, the members of the female members of the opposition, we have been speaking since day one about what is being said to us. We had this whole issue with our colleague Tabitha Saraba Hali and her actually having to suffer physical
That was
assault
March. That was
at
March
the
last year.
at
You
the
know that?
National Assembly. So this is not something we're talking about now. It's not. And no one, I say there is no one that could come and say that we try to go and poke at something and then we want to complain when it comes. That is not the way in which it ever happens. And I can say, Amanza, you sit not too far off from me. Cher sits directly next to me in the National Assembly. And you go in there, I go quietly. I'm an extremely respectful person. I go quietly and I take my seat, and then you have to endure the disrespect that is coming across the floor at you. But what is disappointing, I dare say, because you can say your skin tick, you can take, but I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for the speaker to say, that is not right. You cut that out. And when he does not say that, we'll have persons like my colleague Sherry Duncan would come when you can't take it no more, the speaker is right there. He's allowing persons to blatantly disrespect the female parliamentarians on the opposition side. And he says nothing, but dare you try to respond, all hell break loose. How dare you think that you should not be disrespected? That is the way in which it comes over. Like, how dare I have developed a posture to ignore some of the things that are said, and I call name because I say Anand Prasad. Like, he particularly he says the most nastiest of things, and he says it directly to me. And his colleague sit next to him, Kwame McCoy, and he says the most nastiest of things. And he says he doesn't. I can be on my computer. I'm typing up, and I'm going to be hearing the shouts. I'm not engaging. And persons would remember when I was giving my budget presentation at one point, it's not last year, it was so bad, Kwame Mokai shouted, and I'm waiting on the speaker to say something. The speaker did not once admonish him for what he was saying. And then I came back with
Enter
the
meme.
Yeah. Then it came
with
back
your one CXC.
with me saying, you with your one CXC,
Yes.
don't shout at me. But the aggravation that comes and comes and comes, and you try to take the high road, you try to be ladylike, you try to just be poised in the way in which you do whatever, but the aggravation that comes with it, and the fact that you would believe that at the level of parliament, women will be given the utmost respect, but it's quite contrary. I often say to my family that I feel sometimes like I'm working in a club, and it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm dealing with drunk men that has absolutely no respect for women. That is how I feel at times.
I really want to say, Sharon, thank you.
Yes.
Just on behalf of myself and the other female MPs, for really standing up yesterday and defending us in the House in the manner that you did. I appreciate it. I felt protected.
Yes, finally,
And
I
this
felt
is what
finally
I
protected.
said to the speaker yesterday, that I do not feel protected by you in this house.
Yeah.
And I am one who believes that respect should be given to an office, but respect also has to be earned.
Correct.
And you would have had, for example, Mr. Ralph Ramkaran as a speaker. We all know where his political support was at the time. But he made every effort to be a balanced
Yes.
speaker. Look at Raphael Trotman.
My gosh, where do
Right?
you hear this?
We know,
How do
we
you
know,
compare?
we know
How?
he was elected. But he made every attempt to hear
He
motion.
was
This
professional.
speaker has shed every vestige of impartiality. He is clearly at the beck and call of his political masters. And I have no bones about saying that loud and clear. You must command my respect as the speaker.
Yes.
You cannot hear me being subject. Look, that is tell me the gods, but my skin thick. And I could ramble with the best of them.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
not everybody has that disposition. And people are mothers, they have families, and you
Yes.
hear, Nigel Darmlat said that to somebody's wife, to
Yes.
somebody's mother, to somebody's sister. That is the truth of the matter. He didn't say that to an MP.
Yes.
Now, if the woman husband catch you and cut you behind, you're gonna hear another story.
Yeah. My gosh.
But I think that any of the other male MPs, I think a second after, would have stepped in because it was so much. And some of us were in the MPs lounge discussing the budget because trying to get the benefit of listening to what was happening without all of this stuff
The
that usually
disruption.
happens in the well of the National Assembly at the Artichoke Conference Center there at Lilliendale. And it was so much. It was MP after MP, especially the female MPs,
Yep.
who were posing questions. And if folks out there, you heard that dildo remark, that's only one of the many things. As a matter of fact,
He called
He said
Nima
clung. He said
Yeah.
He
clung.
called Karen something about a dog and
Yeah,
a
he-
wig. And it is despicable. And you know what? People must understand. Sometimes they will look across and they will see the opposition chairs empty. Because sometimes we just go outside to detox, to de-escalate ourselves, and then come back in.
Well, my
We're on the
my
premises,
comment
but
when I
just
was
not in there.
leaving, I was there because yesterday the entire day was Nigel Darmalal, because he's a minister of local government. He's the minister of local government, the senior minister of local government, and so he had to do the ministry of local government, and then he has to do the regions as well. So he had to go with region 1, 2, 3, straight through to region 10. So the entire day is just him, and he has this way in which he feeds off of. He gets a hype off of belittling someone. He gets a hype off of insulting a woman. That is something that makes him feel big and as though he's here and no one can tell him nothing. And we see that manifesting itself throughout the course of the day, to the point that the speaker several times yesterday tried to caution him. Don't do it. No, yes, throughout the day. And he is shouting and raising his voice over the speaker. And the speaker is speaking and he is shouting over the speaker's voice. And that went on throughout the day. So how dare anyone say to us right now that, oh, well, Sherrod was disruptive.
Which is what took
When
which is what took
throughout
me
the
to my
day, the speaker endured that from Nigel Darrell and said absolutely nothing
Which is-
about it.
which
The
is what
video
took me to my
evidence is
feet.
there. The
Which
video
is what took me
evidence
to my
is
feet.
there.
Well, it is simple. He has no respect for the speaker.
Correct.
He has no respect for the speaker. They see him as their tool, and the speaker will in turn try to use his speakership to demand respect from the other side as well.
Which is what took me to my feet, because here was, I think, Vince Roy Jordan making a point.
Yeah.
Nigel Jamlal was responding. He veers off of that and he now starts attacking Natasha St. Louis.
Yeah.
And the speaker stepped in. The speaker said, "Minister, you are getting personal."
Correct.
And he kept on.
Yes.
Yet again, he kept
Did
on.
the speaker suspend him? Did he
No,
ask for him
of
to
course
leave?
He's not
No.
suspended, and this is the problem that I have as a speaker. Your role in the National Assembly is to bring balance, is to preside over the National Assembly in such a manner that the people's business, that it's ventilated. Our speaker needs to improve if he is not going to go down as the worst speaker in Guyana's
That is
post-independence
correct. That is
history.
true. He's
and I have no apologies about saying
he has
that.
an opportunity to
Right
be better.
is right and wrong is wrong. He did something yesterday that I had a difficulty with. You look at the line items of the budget, this head of other. is scrutinized because they usually use it as a slush fund. I must give you Todd credit. There was a $400 million increase in his other.
Wow.
I said, what is it for? He was able to enumerate this is for legal fees, this is for IT, this is for that. And I was satisfied that they did have a plan for this money. I heard the speaker yesterday attempt to give Ashni Singh the opportunity to once and for all explain what other meant because he realizes it's a question that will come up. The speaker does not appear to appreciate that other will different from ministry to ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the people of Guyana deserve to know.
And he seemed to be
what is being said,
telling you what
and
questions you
what
you
you
can ask.
must ask. What you tell me why I must ask. I'm a fairly intelligent human being.
In your own deliberate judgment, you want to ask
I
questions.
know what I want to ask. What's his name? The PM said, Doretta, you remember
I'm going to go into some detail with this. I'm going to go into some
He
detail.
was hiring advisors on his order. How many advisors? As many as he deems necessary. And the people of Guyana didn't even give an increase to gotta foot it with the taxes.
I want to make a comment on that particular thing, because what the speaker did yesterday, he sought to use his remarks slightly similar to the Nigel Darmland's posture to be condescending to the members, to the new members of parliament on the opposition side of the House, of which I am one of those persons. I am one of the new members of parliament on the opposition side. So he sought to make pull Ashley Singh forward, because Ashley Singh is supposed to be the senior person that has been there for a while, so he can he knows what is going on. And what he sought to do is to tell Ashley that, oh well, instead of these MPs coming and asking what is under this heading order, just tell them what comes under this heading order. And instead of Ashley Singh getting up and being honest with the population that was viewing this thing live, instead of him being honest, he got up and sought to be very condescending himself, to say, well, you know, others generally put, and he listed a few things that others could cover, to say, well, oh, well, they don't know. And the speaker went on to say, you know, he has to do this training for parliamentary. But there I say, the only thing that we can be trained in when it comes to the PPP members of parliament, senior members of parliament trying to train us, is corruption. And we require no such training, because they have been there forever and they have learned where to joke and push and put everything to cover up and cover their tracks as they go along the way. But when it comes to that particular line item, I think it was 6284 other, right? What we have been noticing is that they have been using this as a basic slush fund altogether, to say the least. The example that you were stating from the office of the Prime Minister, $200 million was on the order. And when we ask what is there for, when we keep squeezing and pulling for information, we realize that $26.4 million was there for advisors. We asked the Prime Minister how many advisors. He said as many as necessary. Right? So
that being said,
and they want to train us. Right. Okay. Come on.
Another question percolating in society. I'm just drinking my tea, minding my own business.
Well, you know, sometimes our time goes by so quickly. But what is our question, Chair?
There's a question. Who is Sue? Who is Sue, folks? The Sue plot thickens and deepens. Sue-gate is upon us. Sue-gate is upon us, and you know, we had quite a graphic there yesterday, boy. Who is Sue? The tenant and the landlord. There should be a movie, you know, in theaters locally. Yeah, the tenant and the landlord, or the landlord and the tenant. It has a
flair, yeah.
The landlord and the tenant.
The young and the restless type. The landlord and the tenant.
So two things happened yesterday in Sue-gate. Two things happened yesterday with Sue-gate. We had the vice president coming out. It was night before the last.
Yes,
in a press conference, and he said he spoke to Sue after the whole thing came to the fore. He spoke to Sue, and Sue said he never made these allegations. As a matter of fact, it was Vice, the reporter, Isabel Young, whatever the pronunciation is, and that interview was done. Isabel hasn't published her story as yet, but it seems as though the vice president knows what is coming, and so there's damage control that has to be done. So they put out part of the interview, and then they had to put down night before the last press conference to do damage control of what they put out initially. And he said he spoke to Sue.
Yep.
Well, yesterday, last evening rather, Sue put out a statement, quote unquote. A statement came out purporting to be that
Of
from
Sue.
Sue. And Sue follows up by saying he doesn't know about these allegations that were made, but not before the Chinese embassy earlier on in the day itself put out a statement saying that its contractors work above board in accordance with the law and all of that. But everybody who's looked at this situation, Twitter and Amanda, said there is more in the matter.
There clearly is more
than just the pistol.
There clearly is more on the matter. Look, this thing has to be taken into context, and you're right.
Contextualize.
It is damage control. Here you are, one of your biggest showpieces coming up next week, the energy conference.
Yes.
You're expecting heads of state. Interesting that Ms. Young has not yet published her piece.
Yep.
But they have gone ahead and preempted, which when you understand politics and PR, they're trying to soften the blow of what is to come.
What is coming?
What I understand is that this Miss Young is not a reporter that just do tap work like you say in Guyana. I've seen videos of the woman with soldiers in combat, running through the alleys under gunfire and
genocide, all of those things she covered.
Interview the head of the Taliban at one time. So this, I dare say, my people, is not a fly-by-night run-of-the-mill reporter. And so there is more in the matter than on the pestle. What you're saying is damage control. I do not believe that Vice News, given its reputation, will fabricate statements that. I believe that they have their evidence and it will be presented in due course.
Yes.
And all of this damage control will backfire. I don't place. If I were the Chinese embassy, what would I say, that my contractors are offering bribes? I wouldn't say that. I would say exactly what they've said. We operate above board, etc., etc. That is right and proper and fitting from the Chinese embassy. It is alleged that Sue has said something, but we don't know. People could write on behalf of Sue.
Correct.
So, there is a lot going on. And I think what happens is that where we are at the point now where if the vice president is serious about preserving Guyana's integrity, he should step down, because this Sue Gate is really a distraction from the energy conference. We're going to have heads of state here, and it's just a distraction. And he should probably do the honorable thing and step back as vice president.
But even with that, Amanda, this is not a distraction that was put upon him. This is a distraction that he created. He wanted this discussion to be had. And I don't want people to mistake and say, oh, well, this is an accident that we're discussing this right now. This was put out there by him. He wants this to be discussed right now.
He put it out because he preempted. Because
it was a calculation. It is a stage in the process.
It's a very simple strategy. If I expose myself first, when you expose me, it's sort of blunted.
But I don't think that. I believe. I'm a little conspiracy theorist on this part. But I believe that this whole discussion with Sue and this with bribes and so, I believe that this is actually not the meat of the story that is gonna come, but it's being used as a distraction to deflect from what is actually going to come.
And you make an important point, because we see why Isabel put
That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying, right?
It might be even worse than we imagine. But the only way that you will attempt to fall on your sword is if there is, as you have rightly said, more in the martyr than on the pistol. And so for me, I wait with bated breath to see where this will lead.
Wow.
We have got to understand that we are now an oil economy. It means that there are billions and billions and billions of dollars that will be available for all kinds of things. But again, it comes back, Sherrod, to what we as the people of Guyana will demand. we got to come back to the NRF. And I know that sometimes as a population, you feel tired.
Yes, my gosh.
I know that our people are exhausted, but we have to focus because the devil is in the details. And we cannot get so tired and so distracted that we are not able to focus on what is at hand. We have now monies in the Natural Resources Fund that was supposed to be kept for our children, buddy, so that our children could come into to a time that they had money there put up, like you're saving. What the Natural Resource Fund is Guyana having a bank account saving for our children, making smart investments so you can grow interest and our children will have more money. What you have happening now is literally your bank account is being raided. That is what is happening on a macro level. And you have Wane Jill standing up in the parliament to say that the NRF money is going to go into the consolidated
And they're going to mix it all together.
And they're going to mix it all together.
Making it impossible to audit.
That is not the intent of a natural resource fund.
Yeah.
It is to safeguard your future generation.
But you know what? I wanna pull back a little bit from us being on the ground and looking at Isabel, and Jack Dio and Sue and all of that. And think about the fact that lots of us have become enamored by Mia Motley because she goes on the world stage, she represents. She sits down with Christiane Amanpour and she holds her own in an interview and she can talk about climate change and on varying aspects of our government and how they're developing Barbados. We got Irfan. Irfan goes on the world stage and talks about all kinds of things and, really doesn't have a grasp of the English language. And then we got a vice president who sits down and he's talking about people offering him bribes, the allegations of taking bribes from Chinese company. You understand where we are?
I understand where we are.
You understand where we are? Why we can't have a moment where, irrespective of the political divide, we can say, look how this chap here represents we here.
We're proud of this,
Look what we're grappling with here, bribe. That the allegation that Chinese businessmen, contractors, pay in excess of, at the lower end is 500,000 US, according to what
the report is saying, right?
Right? The allegation, that's the lower end, to get big contracts. As Amanda said, the oil and gas industry is huge, billions of dollars. We had the British High Commissioner just yesterday talking about tightening the procurement laws because, again, they know what they're seeing. They know what they're hearing on the ground. Right? We're cheating. People trying to cut in.
Yep.
Right? Drive on the pave in the contract and come in front. Right? Talking about tightening the procurement laws. So there's Mia Motley on the international stage, doing the region proud. We are member of CARICOM and we're Caribbean people at the end of the day as well, and we feel proud.
Yep.
And here we like grappling. Who is with Mia Motley? Barjaglio, being accused of taking bribe from Chinese company. And we say this, I love how Amanda prefaced what she said. Isabel Young is not no run-of-the-mill reporter.
Correct.
These people do their homework. And I think people who aspire to be in journalism locally, not clowns, right, should take a page out of their book. But you know what suppresses that? Fear of intimidation.
Fear. And you talk about this thing of fear. And I like for people to understand where we as, we're now regarded as public figures. We are aware of what can happen to us.
Yes.
Yes.
We know the risk of that's being run. You have people going to dig up dirt on you, and you know that your safety is being jeopardized. But I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to be on my knees and beg anybody. This is my country. I born here.
Yeah. People call you.
You understand?
People call you, Manzo.
People call you, you get threats, you get all kinds of things. Oh God, be careful, be safe. I am like, Lord, I can't go unless you say it's me.
Unless the Lord watch the city.
Right? So
the good book says.
But I refuse to live in fear
because
of these
because you
people.
are, and you are not living at all. And
Precisely.
every time someone says to me, be careful, don't say this, don't say that, because your life is at risk, and you have your family and all of that. When people say that to me, we have to understand that if you are living in fear of speaking, then you are absolutely not living at all. You are just surviving. This is just mere existence for you. You just go day for day. But what is life if you cannot have the freedom to speak, to express yourself, to do whatever? What is the purpose of me having life if I can't go out there and do what I need to do?
Precisely. There are many times that you have to confront things, and people like, are you
Mm.
ready for the blowback? Because you talk about this man and you're liable to.
You,
I
my
say, you know
gosh,
what
yes.
I can't live with. What I can't live with is seeing wickedness, seeing corruption, seeing the robbery and the rape of our country, seeing our future generations being robbed of a proper existence, seeing Guyanese people relegated to second class citizens in their own country and not say anything. I can't live with that.
Yes, definitely
The
not.
only thing, was it? Required for evil to
Yeah.
prevail?
Yes.
It's for good men
Is
to
for
do
good men
nothing.
to do
Yeah.
nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can drink
We got
some
some.
water. We can
We
continue
got
to
some
fight.
difficult days ahead, but we will. We have to stand strong.
We have to buckle up.
We have to stand strong.
to buckle up. We have to stand strong. I often say you look like you look at Martin Luther King, for example. They fought for the right to vote. You didn't believe that they were terrified of being thrown into jail or whatever,
Yeah.
but they were able to see that if we don't stand up now, our children will be left in servitude and in bondage.
Very well.
And so them banner throw the belly.
Very well.
They do what they had to do, and so we
Very
as
well.
a nation, we have to stand up and demand.
Very well. Where does the time go? Where does the time go?
It's an hour already.
Where does
I
the time
said it
go?
at the very beginning that we were going to be trying to pack in as much information as we could because the hour goes by so quickly. I know Miss Selby actually commented a little earlier and said that she's now walking into work. So she was listening to us while she was on her way to work. So we have the information hour that comes to you for your information. We try to bring everything together right here at this table so you don't have to go looking anywhere else to get the information. And it's always lovely to be here with you. I love the comments. I love reading the comments from
Anne
everyone.
says integrity and decency matter in any society.
Yep. Joshua Hype.
Absolutely.
Amir McDonald. Gladstone Matthews. Roxanne Aaron is here. Estus Horcourt is here too. Kelvin Allen and Dan Graves-Andy. Folks, thank you for pulling up a chair at our table this morning. Thanks for joining our conversation in our kitchen, and we are so happy to all you guys were here.
Today is one of your people's birthdays.
Whose birthday?
It's Odessa Francis.
Okay, so
my
Odessa's
gosh.
birthday. Respect and manners,
Happy
Odessa.
birthday, Odessa.
Happy birthday.
Odessa
What
has
is it?
been.
16 or 17 now?
I think she
18-ish.
was,
18-ish.
No, she's been in, having a lot of
Happy birthday to Odessa.
18-year-old conversations online. So she's
got the
18.
barbecue and so on coming up. Happy
Good,
birthday,
good, good,
Odessa.
good, good.
Blessings and blessings and
Yep.
blessings.
Blessings and guidance.
Particle people like there say just FYI.
Oh, Big up Bart. Take a whole big up this morning, Bart.
Yep. Thanks, guys, for joining us this
Thank
morning.
you for having us.
Who has the final word?
Blessings.
Well, we have.
Director.
Thank you so much for joining us every morning. Like we're here tomorrow. We'll be here again with you at 8 a.m. And as we say, continue. The persons come back to the page and they listen to the broadcast after we're off air. So continue to share the live stream. As Sheldon would say, that show us your emotion just by clicking on that emoji. See, I think you said smash.
Smash
that emoji button.
Boom.
Smash. I'm a little too proper. Nevertheless.
Mud water.
Nevertheless,
Mud water.
continue to come, continue to join us, and of course, continue to help us to keep these programs going. And it is with your contribution that we're able to do what we're doing here right now. We appreciate each and every one of you and what you have been contributing. And I dare say, the Obama campaign did it just like this by having the people actually contribute so that mechanism was afloat for all of that.
Powered by
Pace and
you.
power. Pace and power in
Numbers.
Pace
That's
and
that
power.
is it.
Pace and power.
So see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a blessed day.
Bye, guys. Be safe.